Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Hey, Sean, what's happening, my friend?
Hey, I'm good. Finally, you don't beat Vegas much. Like you said, Vegas doesn't get the line wrong too much, but they've gotten it wrong at least twice this week, I really feel like, with Washington. And then also, I don't know what a catch is anymore. I don't want to be one of those people, but I'm telling you, Sunday night was more of an incompletion than last night's pass.
Well, you're upset about that because you needed those 3 yards for sure.
I did, but I would think that if you show anybody these two catches and go, which one would you call a catch, which one you won, they had them backwards.
Well, I just remember Des Bryant, 5 steps with the ball. That's not a catch. So to me, that is a catch. And anyway, you were talking about a catch. Boy, did I catch a bad? You too, man. We caught a really bad break in that Minnesota game last night in the NBA against who did they play last night? This is how great my brain works.
Minnesota and Indiana. The kid from Indiana gets the ball. There's like 3 seconds left. They're down 4. We're laying 2.5. All we need him to do is miss the shot and get a rebound. We're good to go. And the guy casts up the shot. He airballs it, Sean. And it goes to the other side of the rim. Doesn't touch a thing. Goes straight to a dude from Indiana standing underneath the basket. Just lays it back up at 0.4 of a second left. If the guy nicks the rim, if he hits the backboard, if he bricks it off the front of the rim, if it touches anything other than an Indiana player immediately, we cover. That has to be one of the worst beats that I've ever experienced in my life. And then I'm doing the Montana game. I'm looking for the first half. Oregon comes out, Sean, and misses their first 2 shots. And I told you, and then they went on to hit their next, I think, 14 in a row, 15 in a row, something like that. So I went back and did the math, assuming that they're a 50% shooting team. What the chances are of making 14 shots, 15, 16 shots in a row? Probably 0.5%.
It's like,
if that.
Yeah, if that. It's 1 in 10,000 tries. Yeah. So that means in all the games to play this year, that might be the one time a team makes 12, 14, 15 shots in a row all year.
And
I was on the wrong side of that.
Yep. Yeah. I had one the other day on my personal account. It was the Lakers and the Pistons. I did a same game parlay. The Pistons plus 11 or whatever, Lakers to win and the under. And the under didn't look good, but then it got to the point when there was 10 seconds left. Detroit was down 5, and I was like, if they shoot a 3, same thing you're talking about. They shoot a 3, they miss it, the game's over. Well, doesn't Detroit go right to the basket and do a dunk, and that was the end of that.
Yeah, and the Lakers get out of the way, right?
Yeah, they get out of the way. It's like, and if I understand it, but at the same time, if you're going to take the 2, they're not going to miss both free throws, and you're probably not going to get the steal. So you need a 3 there. So it was just one of those things. You saw it right away, and that is not what I was hoping for.
Yeah, that's I hate bad beats. I don't mind getting when you lose. I said this before. I don't mind being wrong. I hate bad beats, and I hate being somebody who does a lot of math, because when I know there's like a 1 in 10,000 something, and those 1 in 10,000 things always happen against me and not to me, it just drives me absolutely bananas. But we decided to do things a little bit differently today, Sean, going forward, so we don't run down game after game after game. We're going to add a little bit more value to the show by talking about a couple different things. We're going to highlight some key injuries, any kind of strange line movements, and then what I'm going to call big money games. And that's when there's a big discrepancy between what the bettors, in terms of the number of tickets, are and the money. So if the money doesn't line up with the bettors, so if the asses are masses making massive mistakes, we're going to talk about that, Sean.
Yeah.
So as far as key injuries are concerned, Sean, big money, big line movements, running through the college basketball games and running through the NBA games tonight. Really nothing that jumped off the page in terms of a line movement, but I did identify a handful of big money games tonight, Sean. So let's talk about those real quick. In the NBA, the only really kind of big money game is if you look at the Detroit Pistons and the Portland Trailblazers, Sean. You would think everybody would be backing the Portland team at home, but 52% of the tickets, so a little bit more than the tickets are on the Pistons, but damn near 3/4 of the money is on the Pistons. I mean, on the Trailblazers. So the smart money is backing the Blazers tonight, laying all of those points. As far as college basketball is concerned, Sean, there's quite a few. There's a big discrepancy between where the tickets are and where the money is. So, as they always say, follow the money, right?
Yep.
So, the over in the Delaware game, the tickets are split on the total 50, Sean, but over 80 cents on the dollar is backing the over. On the Davidson-Charlotte game, both ways, the tickets and the money are different. And this one is actually, it's going to impact me, as we're going to find out a little bit later on. But 60% of the tickets are on Davidson, but almost 70 cents on the dollar is on Charlotte, Sean. As far as the total is concerned, a little bit more than half of the tickets are on the under, but almost 90 cents on the dollar is on the over. So in Davidson, the smart money says take Charlotte, take the over. You have another game, Army versus Siena. Again, total seems to be 50-50 on the tickets, but there is no doubt where the money is in that game because 85 cents on the dollar is on the under, Sean.
Wow.
Old Dominion, East Carolina, game that probably everybody circled on the calendar day, right? Wouldn't you say? You had that one circled, I'm sure.
No, I did not.
But almost 60% of the tickets, Sean, are on East Carolina, but over 2/3 of the money is backing Old Dominion. And then you got that ACC Big Ten matchup. And I thought last night, boy, I thought Virginia was going to come back and clip me at the end there. I had a 14-point lead at halftime. And then, like, once that game kind of went into the second half, that's like when my whole night just went like, like I was doing fine. And then just like there's some kind of energy out there that says, you know what, let's go F-foot rich for a little while.
Well,
but anyway,
you were on the right side of the finish of that, at least.
Yeah, thankfully. If that one would have lost, I would have really had a night that would have made me salty, Sean. There's no question about that. But in any case, most of the tickets are on Purdue, on the Big Ten team, a little bit more than 50%, but you have 65 cents or so back in the Florida State squad. Duke in Ohio State, big game tonight, right, Sean?
Yeah.
Yeah, huge game in college basketball. This might be one of the biggest discrepancies of all. Most of the tickets, 63% of the tickets, Sean, are on the game going over. But 2/3 of the money, all the smart money, so to speak, is taking the under. So the under game and Duke, keep an eye on that. Finally, late night, if you're up, I think this is absolutely this one, the tickets and the money are completely on. Somebody made a huge bet in this game, Sean. There's no question about it. I don't know who that somebody is, but the numbers, they don't lie. Long Beach State versus San Diego State. Another game Sean had circled on his calendar tonight. More than 60% of the tickets, Sean, are on the over. Take a guess how much money's on the under.
Probably 98 cents out of the dollar.
How did you know that?
I was just guessing. You usually say 90. No, I was just guessing. You made it sound like it was absolutely a lot, so I went, yeah.
98. So you want to talk about discrepancy? The masses are all over the game going over, but the big money, the smart folks, the folks like Bill Krackomberger, man, they're pounding that under. I mean, there must be a huge ticket out there on that one. And I forget the game, but the last time San Diego State played, I don't even think they cracked 40. Or if they did, they just barely cracked 40. So I get that. The only thing that always makes me nervous when a team comes off that bad offensive, maybe they're coming back. Yeah. Short, fat guys on their team that can't jump.
Well, San Diego State, they're definitely a better defensive team than they are an offense team. So that's why too.
Yeah, I think they're short, fat guys that can't jump. That's a better explanation. So, all right. So that covers some of the big money picks. Any key injuries tonight, Sean, that folks ought to keep an eye on before they make plays?
I know. Sorry for being a little late here. Iguodala's out for the Warriors. I know that. So that's a big one in the big game with the Warriors and Suns. Mm-hmm. You also got John Morant, who's been out a couple games, and now he's going to be out for a little
6
while.
Weeks, I think, or something. They say,
yeah. So that's huge.
That's a hurt for me.
then the Lakers played tonight. LeBron's questionable. That's not surprising.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean he'll probably play, but yeah, he'll probably play.
Let me guess, it's his groin.
Yeah.
Didn't Mama tell him not to play with that in the shower?
Yeah. And he always, when he's in the game too, he always looks hurt, but you just have to battle through it.
Because
other than that, I'm not seeing too much more.
You can't say anything to him. I know that Joe Harris for the Nets is out tonight too.
Joe Harris for the Nets is out. Yep.
So they're outside presence. So that's some 3-pointers that might be missing.
Yeah. So it's a light schedule for the NBA.
All right. Well, it's a light schedule, Sean. So let's just get straight to our picks in the NBA. Who do you like?
Well, it jumped off my page. This was another one. Warriors Suns.
Jump off the page. Pick for Sean.
No, but I'm going to actually do the opposite.
We're going to have to make that a quality, a segment. Jump off the page picks.
Yeah, and then have
anti-bandwagon picks. The
have somebody screaming in the background. No, not again. So when I saw the Warriors were an underdog, I really almost wanted to go there. But then you dig a little deeper, and usually too. I'm going to go the Suns here, giving up 3 at home. I mean, they both are on win streaks. I think the Suns at home. I think the Warriors, they won 14 or 15 in a row now. I think it ends tonight.
Yeah, they won every game. I think. They're
also
a team making shots. Yeah, absolutely. They're like Oregon. They just make shots.
I hate to be one of these people because I'd rather break down the game and bet, but everybody is running to the window and betting the Warriors, it seems. And every time that happens, you get the other team. So I'm going to go the opposite here, and I'm going to give up the 3 with the Suns. I expect the Suns, they've been really good this year, but they've also had their games where they've kind of just lazily won like a lot of teams. Mm-hmm. They'll be there tonight, and I think they win by more than 3.
Yeah, I have Phoenix. I have Phoenix covering about 44% of the time, and the game in this spot going under about 61% of the time. Any other NBA spots that you like, Sean?
Not really. I mean, I would love to go against the Lakers and take the points, but 4 with the Kings is not enough for that. Mm-hmm. If they were getting a little bit more, I'd go there, but 4 is too close.
-3, by the way, for Phoenix at -110, so you don't have to get the hook out there.
Yeah, that works. So I looked at that game as well, just the way the Lakers are playing, but not enough points, and the Kings have not been playing very well.
All right. So, yeah, I have 2 plays tonight in the NBA, Sean, and neither one of them is against the line. They're both against the number, so which concerns me a little bit because I am going anti-number here, Sean. But let's go ahead and get started with the Toronto game versus Memphis, despite Ja Morant being out. Neither team is particularly good at stopping other teams. So 216 and a half. I can get 216 and a half. The line's crept up a half a point. I'm going to go over, Sean, 216 and a half. I have these guys going considerably over 216 and a half. I looked at their games. I don't think Memphis has played a game recently under 215 and a half, or Toronto either. So I know that Ja being out is a big deal, but last game they won when he got hurt by quite a bit, and their offense didn't really seem to get me a struggle that much. So I'm going to take the over 216 and a half there for -110. And then another total I'm going to play, Sean. Any thoughts on that total, by the way?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. And, the thing with Morant being out, yeah, that's their offense, but they'll have to find other ways to score. So sometimes it does speed a team up and does mean more points. So
I think if he's in, the total's probably 4 or 5 points higher. But I don't know how much Morant Ja is worth, but at least tonight I feel like it's worth taking the over because I feel like it's an overreaction to the downside on the points. But
yeah, and Toronto's offense in the beginning of the year was a little inconsistent, but they've put it together. And like you said,
they don't stop anybody from scoring.
No. So yeah, I agree.
So the Portland-Detroit game, Sean, this one's kind of going both ways. Some lines going up, some lines coming down a little bit. I didn't like, I mentioned that in terms of that game, most of the tickets are on Detroit, but most of the money is on Portland. I'm going to look again here at the total. I know that it's going to come down to, but 209 and a half, Sean, for -110. I know it's going to come down to Portland putting up points, but Portland, I think 9 out of their last 10 games, Sean, have gone over 210. So I feel like Detroit's going to score, and I feel like Portland's going to score. I can see Detroit getting. I can see Portland getting to 112, 113, 115. If Detroit can get to, I feel like if Detroit can get to 98, this game goes over.
Yeah, that's the only thing is Detroit's offense. I'd almost, and I'll look it up for you. Now you know what? I'm not talking you out of it. Never mind. I'd almost say
you're not going to.
I'd almost say you'd go Portland's over here just because of you never know with Detroit's offense. Portland's over is 108.5. So that'd be kind of what
I put him at. It's what I said. I put him at about 110, 112, 113, right?
And Detroit's over under is 101.5.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. So I feel so if you got 101.5 and 108.5, that doesn't even make sense because that adds up to 110 and the line's 209.5. So according to Vegas, I'm on the right side of the bet. So I'm going to go ahead and take the over there, Sean.
Okay.
Any plays in college basketball tonight, my friend?
Yeah, I got 3, and they're 3 of the bigger games. I'll take Indiana giving up 2.5 to Syracuse.
Right. Hold on a second before you move on there. Here, Indiana versus Syracuse, okay. I have that game 50-50, Sean. On one side, I have Syracuse winning. On the other side, I have Indiana winning. And I need both sides to agree for me to make a play. So I think it's going to be a tight game.
Yeah, I just don't think Syracuse is all that great this year. I know they're at home.
That goofy defense, right? That can make a difference sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Then I went Clemson to win against Rutgers. Another one. Rutgers has played some bad teams, and they've barely won. Mm-hmm. Clemson's a decent team, pretty good team. So I expect them to win. And another thing you could look there, I don't want to double dip, but another thing you could look there is the under. Again, Rutgers has problems scoring sometimes, so they only have one player really, Ron Harper Jr.
I had Florida State highlighted, bolded for me to take a look at them, and then I ran through the numbers. They do have most of the advantages, but Rutgers has a few advantages too, which concern me. But I do have Clemson covering both ways, which normally would be a play for me. But like I said, Sean, I like to be quantitative. So I do all this stuff through the computer, and then I go ahead and double check it on the numbers qualitatively. And I agree with you. Clemson is the play. I just couldn't pull the trigger myself.
And then the other big game tonight, Duke giving up 3 to Ohio State. Again, I'm just not sure how good Ohio State's good, but I think they're overrated. Duke been really good. They just beat Gonzaga. So my only concern is them coming off that Gonzaga win. But I think they are. Yeah, but I think by far they are the way better team than Ohio State, and they match up fine with them giving up 3. So I'll take Duke giving up 3.
I'm in agreement with you, Sean. Duke is one of my plays tonight too, both in terms of offensive efficiency. Both offenses are equal, but I feel like Duke's defense is going to be the difference here. And Duke has a little bit of a better pace. They play at a little bit higher pace than Ohio State does. So I feel like the better defense and the little better pace should add up to more than 3 points for the Blue Devils on the road. But I do worry a little bit, Sean, like you said, about the bounce in that spot. So I have a couple of other games in here, Sean. I'm going to get started. I have actually a bunch of them tonight, which kills me for college basketball. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Minnesota against Pittsburgh. Minnesota has all the deciding edges in that game. I have them covering by enough to take this game. I'm going to bet them full time, Sean. So Minnesota minus 2.5. All these games I think, are minus 110, Sean. Davidson and Charlotte, as I mentioned, all the money is on Charlotte, but all the tickets are on Davidson. I guess my ticket's a part of that, and I'm maybe on the wrong side of the money here, Sean. But again, looking at this game, Davidson has all of the advantages. They have the better offense in terms of offensive efficiency. They're more efficient on defense. The paces are almost identical. So you have the team that's more efficient on offense, just as more efficient on defense. They both should have a similar amount of possessions. And that being the case, that favors Davidson. So I'm going to go ahead and take them. I'm going to take Army against Siena, Sean. This game looks to me like Army they're the better offense. They're the better defense. They're at home. 4 points isn't enough, Sean. I'm going to take the Army Black Knights. And I'm going to lay 4 points there, Sean. Whew. All right. Howard versus Mount St. Mary, Sean.
Man, Rich really needed a lot of action tonight.
Hey, I did. I'm tired of you out betting me.
Not happening tonight.
I have Howard winning this game outright, Sean. I'm not going to money line them because I don't believe in that unless. I mean, this is when I'm thinking about money line and Sean. So let me see what the Howard money line is. If the Howard money line is big enough, if I'm getting some value for that, I would consider it. Let's see. Hold on. If I can find it in here somewhere.
Plus 160 I see on DraftKings.
Plus 160?
Yeah.
Okay, instead of my normal $10 bet, I'll put $7.50 on it would just make it even $7 on Howard to win outright, Sean.
Okay.
Probably turning a winning bet into a losing bet right there.
Well, I mean, they get 4.5 normally, so.
All right.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my college play. So real quick recap, Sean. Who do you like tonight?
So I got the Suns giving up 3 to the Warriors. Indiana giving up 2.5 to Syracuse. Clemson beating Rutgers. And then Duke giving up 3 to Ohio State.
Yeah, for me, I'm taking the over in Toronto, Memphis. I'm taking the over in Portland and Detroit. So the total in the Toronto-Memphis game is, I think, 216.5, something like that.
Correct. Yep.
And then the other one is 209.5 for Portland and Detroit. In the college hoops, I just went crazy today, Sean. It's like March Madness for Rich in November. So I took Minnesota -2.5. I took Davidson -4. I also took Army -4. I'm on a bunch of favorites tonight. Howard, moneylining Howard, and Duke -3, Sean.
Yeah, speaking of money lining, man, I pointed out the Pelicans last night. I really should have. I played them in my personal account later because I was up, but I should have done that on the show.
Well, you shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? They say
Yeah.
if is the biggest word in the English dictionary, Sean. They say, if I won't go there, Sean. But anyway, if my sister had different body parts, she may be my brother. But in any case, Sean, any final thoughts before we get up and out of here?
No, that's it. No MAC football. We'll miss that. Or I'll miss that.
Returns on Friday, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Light schedule. Just conference championship.
Absolutely, for sure. So we'll be on that. And of course, once the bowl games start, we'll have plenty to talk about then. We'll talk about every single bowl game, Sean. Tomorrow we'll be back. Same thing. College basketball, NBA. Any NHL thoughts before we go?
No, I'll skip that.
And then shortly, I will be adding some soccer plays from the English Premier League, from the Bundesliga, and then from the Spanish La Liga. They'll be over on the website over at MoneylineMadmen.com. You can also catch them on our Twitter feed, on our Facebook feed. Those are both not Racing Radar. I got the wrong one on there, Sean, so forgive me. At MoneylineMadman.com. You can go to Racing Radar too if you like horse racing. You can do that. If you like what you saw today, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe on YouTube. Help us get to 100 subscribers on YouTube so that we can get the Vanity Moneyline Madmen URL through YouTube. Halfway there. So we got a little bit of work to do. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. And as always, Sean, we hope that all of our picks stuff your pockets full of cash. Right? Absolutely. And then pow, pow to you too, my friend.
Oh, my goodness.
We'll be back in 23-3. If you have any thoughts, comments, or questions, hit us up on Facebook and Twitter. And as always, folks, hope all of your bets end up being winners. Have a great, great Tuesday night at the window.